he never... he was... I don't know what to say. Well, we wish you very well. Wish you the best of luck. Back to you, Marty.
Thank you very much, Tony. You can see match referee there, Willie Barrett, just getting the necessary material from Johnny Pilkington and Dermot O'Prey. So all the signatures have been signed, team photographs have been taken, and now comes the toss of the coin. And I hope Willie has brought the coin with him. I'm sure he has. Well, let's see. Is this a sign of times to come? Will it be Offaly or Down that'll win the toss? Johnny Pilkington wins it, and he's going to be playing from left to right.
Yes, obviously a great disappointment today for Conor Arthur. The style of game that very much similar to the game Eamon played himself when he played. They approach every ball as if it's their last ball. The back, you'll rarely see forwards playing against Offaly getting a free shot at the goal. There's always a back just hooking, blocking, carrying. They're very, very intense at the back. Their midfielders backs will always play low ball, fast ball into the forward. And their forwards, if they're not scoring, they're back trying to retrieve the ball immediately. They're a very difficult team to beat.
It's a very warm day here at Croke Park today. Now, I suppose it's stating the obvious, it's as warm for one team as the other. But would that have any sway in it one way or the other?
It's incredibly hot and humid here, and I would say of the two matches that we're about to see, that physical fitness will play a big part, and the team that has the greatest stamina that could possibly be the teams that are going to win today.
All right, Ger, thank you for your thoughts for the moment. Okay, on that note, let's go back to our match commentator, Marty Morrissey.
Thank you very much, Michael, and certainly the heat is quite intense down on that pitch. Just before the game started, I went out and tested the temperatures, and I can assure you it is really, really hot. It's going to be a difficult day, a real test of fitness for all four teams playing here in Croke Park. There's a man very familiar indeed to Croke Park, substitute goalkeeper now, Jim Troy, and he'd be anxious for an Offaly victory and a chance of another All-Ireland medal on the way. And certainly Offaly come very, very confident, as I said. Hubert Rigney back now from injury, playing at centre half back. This is Danny Hughes. He's been playing very well at midfield for Down since he came in, and the Ballycran man has been scoring as well, particularly in the Ulster finals against Antrim. And in case you've just joined us, let me just tell you the Down team. There are several changes. Dermot Woods comes in at left corner back instead of Paddy Braniff, who unfortunately is injured. Dermot O'Prey is captain, and he comes in at number 22 at left half forward for Michael Blaney. And certainly sympathy for Conor Arthurs, broke his fingers at his girlfriend's house on Friday, and replacing him at corner forward will be Gerard McGrath. And the Offaly team will line out as selected. That's the team that defeated Kilkenny in the Leinster final a few weeks ago. Dahi Regan and Johnny Pilkington in midfield. And of course, a wonderful half-back line that's been very impressive. Brian Wheelahan, Hubert Rigney and Kevin Martin. And it'll be a real testing afternoon to see if they can keep the tabs on the down forward. The Limerick man, very much an Offaly man now, converted Offaly man after that wonderful victory last year. He'll be hoping to retain their All-Ireland titles. And this is a Tipperary man, Willie Barrett, match referee for this All-Ireland hurling semi-final. Julie, of course, very anxious to add to his tally so far in the scoring stakes. A wonderful showpiece here at Croke Park this afternoon. Usually for the All-Ireland semi-finals there's a good atmosphere for the second game, but I can assure you there's colour and atmosphere for the first semi-final. Sean McGuinness has come on and he's given them just the last few words, and he is very confident. I was surprised even the fact that he's missing several players, particularly Paddy Braniff and Conor Arthurs, that he was still confident. And of course recent meetings between Down and Offaly have gone Down's way, and that must be emphasised that they were league matches. Johnny Pilkington, what a great year he's had. All-Ireland medal last year, All-Ireland sub-medal with Burr in March, and hoping to add on a third in the space of 12 months if they get to the final. It's 35 minutes. Dahi Regan and Danny Hughes are already at it. Who's it going to be? Down or Offaly for the All-Ireland hurling final of 95? Down playing from right to left. beautiful day. With the corner forward, Noel Sand. An early score for Down would settle them. Get the second chance, and again it's blocked out. And that's going to be a 65. And the Down men were emphasising before the game, so it was very important for them to settle quickly. Because there was a little bit of tingling nerves in the dressing room just before the game. So this first 65 of the match, as you can see, just approaching 40 seconds gone now in this opening semi-final. Here's a man who's been really flying it in the scoring stakes. He's played 3 games, 2 draws against Antrim and a match against London, and he's now top scorer in the 4 teams playing in Croke Park today. He's the cornerback, Kevin Coulter. He scored 2 goals and 8 points, and he make it 2-9. The first point of the 65, dropping in and got over the bar. He's definitely the top scorer in Croke Park. He's the first man to score in the semi-finals, and down 1 point. Right, hold on indeed by Paul McMullen. David Rigney trying to get it up towards John Troy. Dominic Cray missing it completely. Picked up by Brian Wheelahan. Just as steered in towards Pat O'Connor. Struggles to gather possession, but gets it ahead of Ger Coulter. Throwing it outside is John Troy. And there's the equaliser. Offaly 1, down 1. And just 2 minutes gone in this first half. Because not only is Brian Whelan such an outstanding half-back, but he's very influential, inspirational if he does decide to go forward. And the hurling gone missing from Ger Coulter, picked up nicely by Johnny Dooley, and there's the lead for the All-Ireland champions. So now just 3 minutes gone. Down got the opening score, but Offaly have now settled. Joining me in the commentary this afternoon, delighted to welcome Tomas Mulcahy.
Thanks, Marty. Yes, Down got the first point, and obviously if they're going to make a game of it today, Marty, I definitely think they're going to have to take all the chances, but we can see the Clare Brass side, like Offaly, are very much focused on their job today, and a few years ago they did make 1 or 2 slip-ups against Antrim, and I think they're going to make sure that they get towards the All-Ireland final today.
This is Martin Hannamy, captain of the 94 All-Ireland winning team. The idea was right, but Kevin Coulter was alert to it. So was Ger Coulter. Pat O'Connor, more of a facilitator in the opening few minutes. Michael Dignan. Back to Johnny Dooley. There's another point here for the taking. And Johnny makes it 2 points for Johnny. And 3 points for Offaly. Nice save by Offaly out of the wings. Michael Dignan and Pat O'Connor setting up Johnny Dooley. The down backs are going to have to be a lot tighter. See there how hot it is on Donny Regan's face as the splitter comes near him. Easily picked up, however, by John McCarthy. He's formed a good midfield partnership with Danny Hughes this summer. Kevin Keenan, a little bit lax in the clearance, comes to Hugh Gilmore. It's a dangerous ball as it comes loose, and the forward is there. There's a chance here. Oh dear, no stand. He had all the time in the world, really. But he didn't know that. And this has to be put down as an opportunity. As the ball came in, you can see Noel Sands was available when the ball broke down. Here it comes now, but he hit it tamely. Bad miss for Down, Tomas.
Yes, a bad miss, and as I said previously there, Marty, chances will come for Down, you know, and they're going to have to take those chances if they're going to be in with a chance in this game.
Joe Dooley sending it back down towards John Troy. Plenty of Down players there, but just a little bit over anxious. Johnny Dooley sending it back in. Oh, there's a chance here for a goal. Michael Dodson against goalkeeper. Take it out. Offaly, take it out. Offaly 1-3, down 1 point, and that was so easy. Is it an indication of things to come? The Down back were totally exposed here. How this situation arose defies logic, because there were 2 Offaly players there. Dignan took the responsibility, crashed it home. There's more trouble as Michael Dignan tries to go through. Cut out this time by Ger Coulter. And this is exactly what Down didn't want to happen.
Exactly, yes, and great goal there by Michael Dignan, I must say, you know, but you must fault the Down backs there. They left them all alone inside the square, and he made no mistake in there. And that's probably the difference between the sides between all. Any possession that after they've got to score from.
Down dugout, just not over pleased, I would imagine, at the moment. But there is a slight breeze down on the pitch. It is favouring Offaly at the moment. John Troy. Lovely little flick. Back to John Dooley. And Johnny sends it wide, surprisingly. He's rather disgusted with himself. This is a man who's been minding the Down goalmouth for something on 17, 18 years now. Noel Keith. Fine keeper and a good puck out. Johnny Pilkington. Sending it in towards Noel Keith. Gathers cleanly. Half blocked down. Michael Dignan goes back chasing. There always seems to be an Offaly player available. Joe Dooley. Sending it in low. It's John Troy pulling it up first time. Trying to get it back. Well cut out, however, by Gary Savage. And the centre half back clears his line. Well won by Johnny. Great vision. Back to Weenahan. Bit of clubmate there kind of combination. Great understanding. Not a good clearance into the middle, but there is a down man available. John McCarthy. Coming up towards Noel Sands. Kevin Keenahan is back there. And he's happy to leave it go out, and it did. And Joachim Kelly and Andy Gallagher and Podge Mulhare and the other Offaly officials must be reasonably pleased, while this man is unhappy. McMullen in trouble with Johnny Dooley. Dermot Woods trying to get room to swing. It's foul, so it's a free. Down stands in full colour.
I think Marty Down in their eagerness in the first couple of minutes lost a bit of shape, and everybody seems to be chasing the ball, which left a few Offaly players free around the field.
Ryan Wheelahan. And there's slack marking again here. John Troy is available to his left, but well covered by Marky Mallon. Waits for possession. And Zalman gets there first. Well knocked away by Hubert Rigby. Johnny Dooley, Marky Mallon, Paul McMullen rather, fouling his opponent. So free for Offaly. First free of the afternoon for Johnny Dooley. And he hits it perfectly over the bar. 3 points for Johnny Dooley, 1-4 for Offaly. Kevin Martin. Well pulled on by Paul Coulter. David Hughes comes out to clear. It's a good long clearance down as well. Michael Dignan. That's with Sir Coulter. Kevin Coulter rather. And Michael Dignan springs it over the bar. The Offaly forward line are as impressive as they were against Kilkenny in the opening 11 minutes. Watch this again. Michael Dignan's determination and strength. He even had the time to balance himself perfectly and send it over the bar.
He's looking for water.
And trouble for Offaly. Hubert Rigney is in trouble. Has been from the very first ball that came in, and he got a slap on the ankle. The doctor's been out to see him, and since then, in the last movement there, Hubert blocked the ball as well, and is hurt. They're thinking about a substitution on the Offaly line, and they're also very concerned about getting water around to the players because it is hot down here on the sideline, I can tell you.
Thank you very much, Tony O'Donoghue, and as you can see, Hubert Rigney is in some doubt there. Eamon Cregan seems to say he's okay, and Hubert goes back into the centre-back position. Referee Willie Barrett is just holding up play as the down substitutes look on rather agonisingly even at this early stage. And I think referee Willie Barrett has decided it's going to be a puck out for Noel Keith. Loose ball, pulled on by Johnny Pilkington. Still Johnny being chased by Danny Hughes. And Johnny creates enough space for himself, and Kevin Coulter has to go over to try and keep him out. A good ball in. Cleared by Gary Savage. There's a chance here about O'Connor. Noel Keith save. Good save by Noel Keith. Billy Dooley has gone down injured after a fairly hefty challenge by Dermot Wood. But the goalkeeper from Ballycran responded magnificently there, because once again he was exposed. It was a great pull by Pat O'Connor. He literally scooped it up.
Great save there by Noel Keith. A very difficult shot to deal with on the ground, being the ground so hard today, Mark. He was just bounced in front of him, but a great stop.
Johnny Dooley with the free. He scored 3. Make it 4. The gap is widening after 13 minutes. Danny Hughes chasing after it. And that's going to be a line ball for down. Sean McGuinness trying to tell Kevin Coulter. And there's a man with the Director General of RTE, Joe Barry, the great Micheál O'Hare. Great to see him here on this All-Ireland semi-final day. Joe Dooley, Sahi Regan, Pat O'Connor, goalkeeper Noel Keith. He's a go out over the end line.
Certainly Marty down with a big task in their hands now. Offaly are well on top all over the field, and their hurling has been very crisp and very sharp.
Problem is for down, where do they begin to rectify the problem? Because there are problems all over the place, really. Paul Coulter, Kevin Martin, going into John McCarthy. well able to take his chances, but he's been well harassed by Johnny Pilkington. That's great work by Pilkington. That's the difference between winners and losers. That's the unspectacular hard work and grafting that you have to do. So well done, Johnny.
That's the difference between the teams. Marty, if an Offaly guy had that ball in his hands at that stage, he would have left it off first time, and Down maybe carrying it a little bit too far at this stage.
Great puck up by David Hughes. Finds Joe Dooley at the far side. In towards Billy Dooley. Well picked up, however. Available is Danny Hughes. Up towards centre half forward Barry Coulter. It's not a bad build up at all by John. No stand. Anybody coming through? Hubert Rigney is there for Offaly. Comes back outside. Johnny Pilkington comes across. John McCarthy is there. Half blocked down by Pilkington again. Over towards Dermot O'Prey. His first touch seems to be leaving him down this afternoon. Kevin Coulter gets a hurley to it. He has to get rid of it out of the goal mouth area. Pat O'Connor, difficult angle, and he swings it over the bar. And I know Tomas Mulcahy has been saying it, but every time Offaly attack, the Yabba Dabba Dooley brigade seem to be able to get the point. At the other end, Down seem to have all sorts of problems. Kevin Coulter's hurley actually deflected it, put it into the path of Michael Dignan, but Coulter responded, only outpassed Pat O'Connor, and took his chance. Down go back into the attack. They really need a score just to even psychologically give them a boost. Hubert Rigney is there for Offaly. Sahi Regan. Joe Dooley. They across to challenge him is Paul Coulter, number 10. Sending it up towards Pat O'Connor. Joe Coulter gets there first. Manages to keep it in. And again, Offaly's strength, even in the full forward line, are paying dividends. Dignan, back to Joe Dooley. Over the bar. This Offaly team are intense and giving a performance. And I think, to be honest with you, even at this early, very early stage, almost 18 minutes in the first half, the omens are not good for the Ulster champions.
That's right, Marty. I think Offaly's intentions are to get this game out of the way as fast as possible, and maybe they can concentrate on final appearance then at that stage.
And they're looking very good at the moment. Billy Dooley. Across to Michael Dignan. This time it's won by Kevin Coulter. And to send it over towards Danny Hughes from Ballycran. Well pulled on. Race for Hugh Gilmore and Kevin Keenahan. Hubert Rigney is back there. Well blocked down. Puts a little bit of pressure on the Offaly defence, but Brian Wheelahan is there. Kevin Coulter anticipates well and sends it back down the field. Well won by Kevin Martin. Clean and efficient. Turner Woods just getting the hurley to it and depriving Offaly of setting up another move. Well pulled on by John McCarthy and Dermot O'Prey. Martin Hanaway surprisingly just leaving it behind him. Brian Wheelahan is there. And again he gets his clearance in. Billy Dooley. Lovely little flick back to John Troy. Marty Mellon wasn't standing in ceremony, so gathers possession. Noel Sands being fouled, and that's another free for Down. And a chance perhaps to register their second score of the game. They were the first to score in this semi-final, and that was in the opening 45 seconds. Hugh Gilmore scored 3 points against London, and he scored one now against Offaly. Quite a large number of Down people here in Croke Park will be happy with that point. Gary Savage did very well. gather it as a second attempt. He actually had time to swing to Hurley, really. He wasn't going to be hooked. Jerry Savage. Barry Coulter. Well won by Kevin Keenahan. That's a free for Offaly. David Hughes, St. Rhiners with the free. Noel Keith alert as ever. Danny Hughes unable to gather it cleanly and just pulled them first time. John McCarthy pulling on it. Two Offaly players there. Joe Dooley gets there first. Sends it back in towards Pat O'Connor. Knocks it down. There's a chance here for Johnny. Referee has blown his whistle and he's given a penalty. Downer in deep trouble. They're up to the back of this Offaly net. You can just see there Johnny Dooley was pointing to the sideline, indicating will he put it over the bar. This was the incident again. Johnny was going through. The referee blew his whistle for that challenge. Now I know that Johnny indicated at the sideline, pointing the finger upwards, will he take his point? I did not see the reply. Did Eamon Cregan, Andy Gallagher and company say go for glory? It didn't come up. He had to send it low and it's saved by Kevin Coulter. And Johnny would be very disappointed with that.
Yes, he'll be very disappointed with that. But the one thing I must say is with the grass being cut so short and the ground so hard, players have found it difficult on their first touch maybe to pick up the ball, you know, and we found in that instance that Johnny did fail to raise the ball.
Sean McGuinness trying to tell his charges to go forward.
Come on, Johnny, forget it now, come on!
Well, the Offaly chairman of the county board is reasonably happy, I would imagine, at this stage, even despite that missed penalty. Kevin Martin giving it to Joe Dooley. Marty Ballon. And that's no doubt going to be a free for Offaly. And he calls over brother Johnny to do the necessary. You can see on Joe Dooley's forehead there, the perspiration is just rolling off the players today. And I think Offaly have adopted the right policy. Let's try and get this game over with fairly fast.
That's right, Marty, and their hurling has proved exemplary there again today, you know, and you can see from Down's situation there, they've been behind their men, they've let men loose, and Offaly, as they've done in the championship all year, have taken their scores very easily indeed.
And let's see tomorrow if Johnny Dooley can put this one over the bar. Difficult enough angle, and he puts it straight over Noel Keith's crossbar. 5 points for Johnny Dooley so far in this semi-final. "24 minutes gone now in this first half, in this first All-Ireland hurling semi-final. And the Leinster champions by far and away the superior side. Barry Coulter, one-handed, tries to get it out. Tomás Mulcahy was saying there a moment ago that the first touch, trying to lift it, doesn't seem to be happening for the players. Kevin Keenahan, a fair, old-fashioned shoulder, which gets the response from the fans around Croke Park. Well pulled on. Martin Hanamy passing over there. This is Barry Coulter with Hubert Rigney. He needs a little bit of assistance. Hugh Gilmore is there. Does well to pick it up. Nice bit of skill, but turns. Sends it in towards Noel Sands. He needs a little bit of support quickly outside. It's not coming. Noel Sands tries to go through. Referee has blown his whistle, and he's given a free in. But the support from the other down forwards was lacking. Hugh Gilmore did very well here, and it was more or less God-directed basis, but it did find Noel Sands. He tried to get inside Shane McGuckian. He wasn't going that way. And he won his free. So some medical attention required for Barry Coulter. He seems to be fine. Eileen Donnelly, the physio there from Ardbow in County Tyrone, coming in with some refreshments. So a free for Hugh Gilmore. And I'm sure even from this angle that he'd just be happy to tap it over the bar. That's the second point for Hugh Gilmore, making it now 1-9 for Offaly, 3 points for Down. Big screen for the very first time here in Croke Park, just above Hill 16. Showing them exactly what you're seeing at home this afternoon. RTE's live television coverage of the All-Ireland semi-final. Sending it in towards Hugh Gilmore. Well pulled on, no stand. Coming up play, the race with David Hughes. Hughes leaves it behind him. But this man does it, Brian Wheelahan. John McCarthy sending it back in. A loose ball. Hugh Gilmore goes out after it. David Hughes is there once more. And again under pressure. Gives a good clearance. Danny Hughes sending it back in. And the Offaly goalkeeper is out. And it's in. A goal for Down. Exactly what this All-Ireland semi-final wanted. And now Croke Park is alive with red and white, red and black colour. David Hughes, adventurous the first time, more adventurous the second time. He really had no choice, but he didn't get back in time to deprive this man of scoring.
That's a great score by Down, and badly needed at this stage in the game. But before that, they had one or two great passages of play where they kept the ball moving on the ground, and resulted in the ball coming in across the square at that stage and getting the goal from it.
Now, just a little bit of a test for Offaly, and they win another free. But just in the final few minutes here, Down have been playing a lot more confidently. Shane McGuckian couldn't hold it, and the Down man got the sweetest of touches. No sand. But it's free. Brian Wheelahan. Sending it in towards Pat O'Connor. Michael Dignan. John Troy is there. And that goes off a Down man for a 65.
Well, Offaly manager Eamon Cregan was actually predicting that Down were going to get back into this game. He's been very concerned about the work of his half-forward line, Johnny Dooley, John Troy and Joe Dooley, saying they're not coming out to the ball and they're not working as a unit in the manner in which he expected. So he did say if they weren't careful, something would happen. Something has happened. Down are perhaps back in this game.
Thank you very much, Tony O'Donoghue. Is this 65? Going to be taken by Johnny Dooley. 28 minutes gone, as you can see. Johnny hits that perfectly over the bar. 6 points for Johnny Dooley, 110 for Offaly. Hodge Mulhare there, Offaly selector. Team now 7 points to the good. Billy Dooley and Dermot Woods. Dermot Woods recovers very well. Brother Joe comes in to lend assistance. Mike Steigman leaves a run on for John Troy. Noel Keith, and again he saves it. Well done, Noel Keith. And John Troy really, normally, scores from those sort of positions. Michael Steigman left a run on, and the centre half forward, being chased by Gary Savage, hit it, and as Thomas Mulcahy was saying earlier, bounced awkwardly, but Noel Keith did very well. Free, going to be taken by Kevin Coulter. Danny Hughes. Danny Dooley chasing after him. Still Danny. Well intercepted, very well indeed. Sending it up towards Hugh Gilmore. David Hughes comes out again. And again the goalkeeper does well. It's a good long relieving clearance. Well gathered by Danny Hughes. Anticipated well by Johnny Dooley. Marty Mallon battling hard, so too is Joe Dooley. As the down commitment and character is being shown here in Croke Park. Because although they're struggling, they're battling all the way. Pat O'Connor chasing well, manages to just barely keep it in. Dermot O'Prey playing with a little bit more confidence now. Knocked away by Jared McGrattan. Comes back into the space for Billy Dooley to run onto. And certainly the heat is sapping the energy here as Daithí Regan sends that ball to the right and wide. But you can visibly see, Tomas, that sometimes when the ball goes loose, some players are just hesitant to run for it.
That's right, Marty, and the heat down there must be very intense indeed, you know. And the problem, I suppose, with Offaly is going 10 points, 11 points clear, you know. They maybe take the foot off the pedal at times, you know, but you can't deny Down's commitment and the courage to get back into the game. And I think keeper wins 7 points at half time. I think they'll be happy going in at that stage.
Barry Coulter. Martin Hannamy is fouling. Paul Coulter there, so it's going to be a free for Down. .31 minutes, almost 32 minutes in fact, gone now in this first half. Hugh Gilmore swinging to the left, kept in however. Hopefully Kevin Keelan can't hold on to it. Ryan Whelan is there again. Paul McMullen putting it up towards Dermot O'Prey. Sends it across into the middle. Kevin Martin is there. Barry Coulter. Dermot O'Prey is available to his left if he wants him. He decides to try and drive it in, and again it's Brian Whelan. Danny Hughes. John McCarthy is available to the right. Danny drops it in, and that's a very good point by Danny Hughes. And slowly but surely, Down are coming back in. And I think maybe the Down people are beginning to believe that this team could well put up a very fine performance. It's happening, but it's happening very slowly for them. This was a very good point by Danny Hughes. It's going to be an Offaly ball. Eamon Cregan, I think, just making a positional switch perhaps with John Troy. And the Galway representatives are here in their numbers. Come on the town, Ballinasloe on the lock. Rodney, USA. Whoever Rodney is. Johnny Pilkington. Martin Mallon, under a little bit of pressure. And he does, however, give it back to Johnny Pilkington. And suddenly, Tomas, the Down lads are beginning to harass and chase a bit.
They are, Marty, and certainly they got a lot of heart from that goal, you know. And every time the ball has gone upfield, this no fans has looked a bit threatening for Down as well.
For the first time, Brian Whelan under a little bit of pressure. Somehow a good player always seems to find a space, and indeed finds a colleague. Daithí Regan. Taking a little bit too much out of it. Danny Hughes is there. John McCarthy. Certainly for fitness, Down are able to match them so far. Martin Hannamy winning this tussle against Paul Coulter, and that's going to be a free for Offaly. David Hughes comes out to take the free. This is Offaly's 6th free of the match. What a whopping shot he takes too. And very unlucky not to put his name on the scoreboard. That might also, not taking anything away from David Hughes, this might be aided and abetted by a fairly strong summer breeze. 10 seconds left in this first half on official time. Might be a minute or so for injuries. Well gathered with John McCarthy sending it up. Nobody can reach it from wide. Must be said, Tomas, to Down's credit, by far and away Offaly have looked the better team, but still, as we approach half time, it looks like they'll only go down by 6 points.
That's right, you know, and that will give great heart to Down going in at half time. You know, they say that they've played badly in the first half and they're still only 6 points behind in the game. And I think Eamon Cregan will have a few words to say to Offaly.
And around midfield, certainly, Danny Hughes and John McCarthy have gained a slight upper hand. Barry Coulter. Another score before half-time would be a big boost. Maybe this man can do it. He's well hooked. Comes inside. Chase for Kevin Martin. Jared McGrattan is after him. Kevin Martin gets his clearance, and referee Willie Barrett has blown the half-time whistle. And certainly, as I was saying to Promote a moment ago, Down have not played well in this first half, except for the final 7 or 8 minutes. And Offaly, by far and away the better-looking team in the opening 25 minutes, leading at half-time by just 6 points. Offaly, the Leinster and All-Ireland hurling champions, 110, Down 1-4.
Yes, well, that's a scoreline that obviously keeps the game alive for Down. Can they continue to mount pressure in the second half and have a real go at Offaly? Or will the Offaly men come back and really put this game away? Well, there's 35 minutes of hurling to decide it. We'll analyse that first half after this commercial break, so join us for that.
Goal Sands early miss, I think, is the goal that would have settled Down very early on.
Here's the goal they got, though.
Well, that was actually Sam's second chance, and he took that extremely well.
Yeah.
It was probably the harder of the 2 chances he got. I think he got a very good ball from midfield, and he got on the end of it and flicked it in. It's from there on, Down started hurling, and suddenly they got into their rhythm, and they started causing awfully a lot of problems.
Yeah, I look at the
All-Ireland champions return to Croke Park pitch. And judging by the players running out there, doesn't seem to be any changes on their side either. So it's going to be a right battle.
Jim Keenan, the hurling secretary from Down, is with me. You're still in with this chance in this game?
Very much so, Tony, very much so. We probably played for 10 minutes in the first half. Offaly played throughout that half. Still they weren't able to put us away, and I think we're very, very much in this game.
What did Sean McGuinness say at half-time?
He told them that they had to tighten up, they had to be more positive, and if they did that there and they got the breaks, that we could certainly win this game.
Jim, we wish you luck for the second half.
So Down and Offaly have 35 minutes now to decide who's going to be returning back to this most historic venue for the first Sunday in September. 35 minutes. Willie Barrett restarts, and Down now playing with that slight summer breeze to their back. And as Ger Hegarty was saying, an early score, particularly a goal for Down, would really set this match up for a real thriller. Billy Dooley keeps it in, and Dermot Woods that intercepts, sends it up to Hugh Gilmore. Paul Coulter goes back to gather it cleanly and gets there ahead of Martin Hannamy. Oh, well done. Lovely skill by Hannamy. Good defending, but he's blocked down again. Lovely bit of stick work, however. And again, Paul Coulter gets it across to David Hughes. Here's his line, well down towards Dahi Wigan. Well spotted by Paul McMullen. Johnny Dooley. And Danny Hughes and John McCarthy are doing Trojan work, really, at midfield. Brian Wheelahan. Switching play over towards Michael Dignan. Going back to gather it is Kevin Coulter. Kept in by Johnny Wilkinson. Pat O'Connor. Dignan has gone outside. O'Connor gets away from Ger Coulter. Still Pat O'Connor. Getting across to Michael Dignan. He turned too many times, and no kid puts up the left paw. And sends it way down the field. But it was a great run by Pat O'Connor. Dignan on that occasion just took the wrong option. Ball comes back down. Kevin Coulter cleverly just knocking it aside. Billy Dooley goes after it. Tries to go the direct way and is fouled, and that's going to be a free for Offaly. Definitely a real chance there for Offaly, Tomas.
Yes, there's a good chance for Michael Dignan. Obviously took the wrong option when he got the ball in his hand. Maybe should have taken 1 or 2 steps forward rather than 1 or 2 steps backward. And has started very well and for both sides in the second half. There's great commitment there now at this stage, and we'll be interested to see how the first 5-10 minutes go.
Johnny Dooley going to take this free. Puts it over the bar. So it's 7 points now between the teams. John McCarthy. He's a good solid midfielder, this man from Ballycran. And that ball just goes inches wide. Down have only had 5 wides in this match so far.
Yes, and I think they've moved the High Regan to centre forward, and after they've moved the High Regan to centre forward and brought Michael Dignan to centre field to mark the threat of John McCarthy.
Obviously what we were saying has now been reflected in the attitudes of the Offaly selectors, because they've reacted to that dilemma. This is a great run by Dermot Woods. Comes to an abrupt end, however, Joe Dooley. And again, John McCarthy is putting all sorts of limbs in danger. John Troy trying to pull it at first time. Kevin Coulter, Billy Dooley comes across to gather it, gets there. Sends it goal bound. Oh, that is a strike and a half. Billy Dooley is in top form in Croke Park. And it increases Offaly's lead. What a wonderful point here. He was sent out towards Billy Dooley. He had to run very hard to try and gather it. But from here on, it's a master craftsman at work, striking it from out on the touchline. Now can Down respond to that? Well blocked on by Martin Hannamy. Offaly just happy to get rid of it, really. It's going to be a line ball for Down. John McCarthy with this sideline cut. He's well able to hit them. David Hughes scoops it out, being chased by Noel Sands. It's a good clearance under pressure by the St. Rhiners man. Danny Hughes. Kevin Keenahan puts up the hand. Jared McGrattan. Turning, sending it back in. Noel Sands can't keep it in, but the referee has decided that the Down man was inside the small rectangle. Jared McGrattan a little bit disappointed with that. McGrattan sending in the slither, but the Down man was inside waiting for it, trying to gather it. Noel Sands.
The worrying thing from Offaly's point of view is that if they keep letting Down into the game and a goal goes in, you know, there's nothing left between the sides at that stage. But from another point of view, Offaly's point of view, we have seen very little of Brian Whelan. Maybe we've seen very little of John Troy. We've seen very little of that Hugh Regan.
Shane McGuckin has picked up an injury now, and he's going to require some medical attention as play continues. Joe Dooley. Up towards John Troy. Pat O'Connor. Again he takes on his marker, Ger Coulter. And again he goes round him. Meets Noel Keith. Everybody looks towards the referee. And the Down crowd rejoice. Jared McGrattan leaves it behind him. Picking it up with Johnny Pilkington. Over towards Johnny Dooley. And that's gone wide. The free-flowing Offaly machine that we saw here in Croke Park is sputtering along while still in control.
Well, yes, Marty, while they're still in control, they're playing poorly at this point in the game, and I'm sure Ian Keegan won't be too happy with the play.
Offaly have it once more. Billy Dooley. Over towards John Troy. Ger Coulter is there this time. Over towards Paul McMullen. Michael Dignan. In towards John Troy. Taken away from him cleanly. Back comes Dignan again. Falling for it is Johnny Pilkington. That's sailing to the right and wide. And the scoreline remains the same. 1-12-1-4. It's not that Offaly have had many wides indeed. They've had a total of 8 rather, in this match. And Brian Wheelahan puts it back up towards the Offaly forwards. Brian Wheelahan once more. Pat O'Connor. Nobody in really around the house. Dermot Woods comes across to gather it. And dispossessed cleanly by Billy Dooley. There's danger here, and there it is, in the net. The simplest of scores. There was absolutely no danger for Down, but Dermot Woods was dispossessed by Billy Dooley, and after that it was simple. How simple? Well, let's look at this. Dermot Woods came across to gather it. It was nicked away from him by Billy Dooley, and this was just so easy. It's a bad goal to give away.
Certainly a bad goal from Down's point of view, you know, when there's been very little danger. But give credit to Billy Dooley. He kept Harrison his man and knocked the ball away from him and went around the keeper and stuck it into the back of the net. I mean, that's a forward's job, you know, and he never gave up the chase.
And now, certainly Down, whatever chance they have, they'll have to respond very quickly. Because that goal really has set up Offaly very nicely. Well pulled on into Hugh Gilmore. Kevin Keenahan leaves it behind him, however. Coming through is Paul Coulter. And he's fouled, and that's going to be a free. Hugh Gilmore going to take this free, and he's happy enough to put it over the bar. That's 3 points for Hugh. Well, that scoreline is a little bit intimidating now at the moment for the Ulster champions. So Joe Everty is being mentioned now as a substitute for Offaly. He normally plays in the backs, particularly at full-back. He's rated by many as one of the finest in the country, in fact. So the depth of talent in Offaly is that Joe Dooley goes through, and he sends it wide.
Shane McGuckian will be coming off the Offaly team, picked up an injury there shortly into the second half, and Joe Erty coming on for Offaly.
This is the incident again as Joe Dooley took off. Certainly be put down as a goal-scoring opportunity, and hit it wide. So Joe Erity comes on, and it's actually Hubert Rigney that seems to be going off. So Hubert is obviously, that ankle is causing him problems, and he's got off, and Joe Erity comes in. Down, keep the pressure on. Joe Dooley comes across. Up towards Brother John. Kevin Coulter is with him. Still Johnny Dooley. Good running by Johnny Pilkington. Noel Keith saw it all the way. It's a good clearance. Brian Wheelahan knocks it down for Michael Dignan. Gone for the return. And there it is. There's a point here perhaps. Normally he gets one, and it's just been recorded. Brian Wheelahan gets his first point of the semi-final. He did it in the Leinster final. He always loves to go forward. And the Burman puts his name on the scoreboard. He actually, look at this for running off the ball. He started running back there. He obviously called Michael Dignan, got the pass, and hit it perfectly over the bar. Another free for Down. And really at this stage, Tomas, they need a goal.
Certainly don't need a goal, you know, and probably good decision by Offaly there, taking off Hubert Rigney as well with his injury. I mean, the game is practically over from an Offaly point of view at this stage, and they might do further damage to his injury, so they're going to keep him and try and get him fit for the All-Ireland final at this stage.
Hugh Gilmore loading one end to see if they can engineer something. The answer is very much in the negative. Sean McGuinness now looks a little bit despondent. He really had great hopes that today they could put up a great performance and even win this semi-final. Danny Hughes going back to gather it. Noel Sands drives it forward. Kevin Keenahan gathers it. Comes out with it. Gets it down for Johnny Pilkington. He turns nicely away from John McCarthy. Joe Dooley. Noel Keith comes out together. There's a good clearance back down, only fires Johnny Pilkington, who returns the favour by sending it this time over Noel Keith, head and over the bar. And yet another Offaly player has scored. We now have 8 players actually, Tomas, as I look at my notes here. We have 8 players, Brian Whelan, Johnny Pilkington, and all 6 forwards.
Yes, great score by Johnny Pilkington, and I think himself and Michael Duignan today have really played very well for Offaly, you know, even the times when they were playing poorly there in the last 10 minutes of the first half. Johnny Pilkington and Michael Duignan kept them very much in the game.
Kevin Coulter being well hooked by Johnny Dooley. Some people in Down feel that Kevin Coulter should be playing up front because he's well able to take scores. And that goes off an Offaly man for a 65. Johnny Pilkington about to take this 65, and if you think that we're near the end of the match, I can tell you that we're now just approaching 15 minutes gone in the second half. But Down still have time, but they need a goal to give them any chance at all. This man is well capable of scoring, even from a 65, trying to get a goal. Well pulled in by McGrattan. There's a chance here. Oh! Off the post and into the net. Hallelujah! For the people of Down. And all of Croke Park once again stands, and it's colourful. Red and black. All over the place. And they're not dead yet. Every time that we decide that Down are out of it, they show a flicker of life. Nicely struck past David Hughes. From any angle this looks good from a Down point of view. David Hughes was helpless as it went in off the post. Joe Everty in a spot of bother. Noel Sands. They need the ball in fast. Sands dropping it in and dropping it over the bar. Well. And we thought this match was over. 16 minutes gone in the second half, and Down look at that scoreline now, and it's quite respectable.
Quite respectable score again, you know, and that goal has given great heart again to Down, and a great point again by Noel Sands, and if they keep up this pressure, who knows, we might be in for grandstand finish.
John McCarthy, half blocked down, Jared McGrattan. Fouled there by Kevin Martin, so a free. And if Down can keep the pressure on, sometimes when a team has at least got it into its thoughts that they have the match won and suddenly the opposition step up, it's very hard to respond.
Very hard to respond, you know, and coming forward with closing minutes of the game, as Limerick proved to Limerick last year, you know, you don't get much chance to respond.
Well, there's 17 minutes gone now in the second half, and again Kevin Coulter sends it in, but this time he sends it wide, and really goals should be either dropped in or from that distance at least maybe hit stronger and sent towards the post.
That's right, you know, and as we said in the first half there, Marty, as well, there would be chances for Down, you know, and if they missed the chances, I mean, they could rule those at the end of the game, and they've made a few basic mistakes around goal themselves where they've allowed Offaly in for maybe 1 or 2 soft goals, and the game could be a lot closer if they take their chances as well.
Ryan Whelan and Johnny Pilkington. A bit of a push there on Billy Dooley by Dermot Woods. The slipper is there for the taking. It goes off Pat O'Connor. As well to keep it in. The referee blows the whistle and gives a free to the faithful County. Johnny Dooley makes the long walk as Sean McGuinness goes back towards his own dugout. Worth 7 points in the semi-final so far, Johnny. Young crowd getting onto him for just taking an extra few metres. Familiar pose of Johnny Dooley, and Johnny puts it over the bar. That was a very important one from an Offaly point of view, because it keeps the down men in their place as Declan Pilkington comes in.
Yes, indeed, for Dahi Regan, the Burman, the midfielder, the big midfielder coming off. Declan Pilkington getting his chance in this All-Ireland semi-final.
So Offaly making changes, Tomas, and the signs indeed before half-time were ominous, I think, for Dahi this afternoon.
Yes, and obviously it being a very warm day down there doesn't suit Dahi either, you know, and a fresh pair of legs at this stage of the game could do wonders for Offaly as well.
Martin Hannamy is going to take this line ball. Kevin Coulter just misses it. Michael Dyken running onto it. Danny Hughes is back there as well, and he holds onto it for dear life. Lovely interception by John Troy. Out to Johnny Dooley, and that's why Offaly are the All-Ireland champions. They make it look simple, and it is simple when the Offaly lads play it like that. Again, that was a giveaway by Down.
Yes, a bad mistake again by Down, but I mean, Offaly have responded well to the Down goal and the point there in the last couple of minutes, and tacked on a further 2 points. That increases the gap all the time.
So 10 points between the teams. Joe Everty made out for Michael Dyken. Noel Sands comes in. He's a hard worker, this corner forward. Well kept in. And Down go forward once more. Over towards Jared McGrattan. Well blocked down by Kevin Martin. Johnny Pilkington is back there again. Joe Dooley without the hurley. Fair shoulder. And Marty Mallon drops a dangerous ball in. Nobody can really connect with it. Ryan Whelan clears it, but it's not a good clearance. Comes to Noel Sands. Drives it in and puts it over the bar. Goal and a point for Noel Sands. 2-7 for Down. And they just keep in touch. Gary Savage under pressure from Declan Pilkington and Billy Dooley. John Troy has gone inside. Pat O'Connor trying to flick it to him. This is Dermot Woods. Half blocked down by Pat O'Connor. Picked up by Gary Savage. That's a good long clearance. Kevin Martin. Being harassed by Jared McGrattan. And Noel Sands. He's the real star for this Down attack this afternoon. Danny Hughes trying to get away from Michael Dyken, and that's going to be a free for Down. And again, the Down lads are going to have to try and engineer and create enough space to at least have a shot at goal. And again, it's Kevin Coulter that goes across to take it. 22 minutes gone now in this second half. Looks fairly intent on the business at hand. just goes to the right and wide. It's 9 wides now in total for Down. Trying to gather it up. John McCarthy. Ger McGrattan having a great battle with Kevin Martin. That's a very good ball. David Hughes. Oh, lovely skill by Hughes. Memories of the 30s and 40s coming back. Lovely pull. Over towards Declan Pilkington. Paul McMullen leaves the hurley behind him. Gary Savage doesn't. McMullen now has the hurley. Gets just ahead of Johnny Pilkington. Sending it in towards the corner, Dermot O'Prey. Pulling it up first time, trying to get it in towards Hugh Gilmore. This is Barry Coulter. Joe Everty is there for Offaly, and that goes out over the end line and wide. Still plenty of time for Down, it must be said, Tomas. 12 minutes to go.
There is plenty of time indeed, Marty, but I mean, from Offaly's point of view, obviously when you come out of a Leinster Championship and winning it so well, you know, you must obviously be keeping one eye on All-Ireland final day when you get these sides of drawn the All-Ireland semi-final. I think, and today, I mean, Offaly started off very well and took their leg off the gas maybe a small bit, and had to do what they had to do, you know, and from a Down's point of view, they need 1 or 2 goals at this stage to get them anywhere close to Offaly.
Kevin Keenahan under pressure now. Gets rid of it. Barry Coulter. And that's going to be a 65. It's thirsty work this afternoon in Croke Park. As Down introduce Michael Braniff. Substitution has now been made, and the man that's going off is the full forward Hugh Gilmore. Obviously with the splitter dropping in there, they're expecting a little bit more reward for it. John McCarthy sends it to the wrong side of the post. And the scoreline still 2-16 to 2-7. The shake of the head indicates there that things have gone wrong for Down, and they just can't find the goalposts enough times. Ger McGrattan again, and Kevin Martin goes off the Offaly man. It's going to be a line ball for Down. I think Barty Mallon was going to try an unusual one, but Kevin Coulter said no. Hits it well. Low Sands, blocked down by Brian Wheelahan. Blinded by the sun. All the players packed. This time it's going to be a line ball for Offaly. Eamon Cregan, I don't think, will be too happy. Happy to win, but not too happy in terms of the overall performance.
I suppose not from an overall performance, but when they started out today, Offaly, you know, nobody was going to give them credit if they won by 20 points or if they won by 2 points, and they have the game over with. They're going to be in an All-Ireland final, and they can now sit back and get their preparations ready for the big day.
Pilkington sending it in. Here for Johnny Dooley. This is it completely to Coulter. This time you can get it right, Johnny. Yes. Margaret says Johnny Dooley. 10 points in this All-Ireland semi-final, and 10 points the difference between the teams. Nobody marking Johnny Pilkington. Kevin Martin, Pat O'Connor. It's going to be a line ball this time for Down.
I think, Marty, we've seen today, though, what a class act Johnny Dooley has been. He's got a great number of points from frees, but also got a great number of points from play as well, and got some brilliant strikes.
Brian Wheelahan. Pat O'Connor. Oops. You don't make mistakes like that when the Kildare man is around. Martin Mallon. They're playing handball here between them, and that was a high challenge, and I think that Joe Dooley acknowledged it. Total accident. And that's going to be a free for Down. Just the incident again, as the pass came back to Gary Savage, and Joe acknowledging that he got entangled there. Shane McGuckian coming forward with it. Noel Sands picking up the loose ball. Still Noel Sands taking too many steps, and that's a free for Offaly. 6 minutes left. The writing is on the wall. And for Noel Sands, who has played quite well, I think that even he is beginning to acknowledge that today is not going to be Down's day. Again, it's Dermot Woods. Declan Pilkington now playing for a place in the All-Ireland final. Noel Keith comes out to gather it. He's been a good, solid goalkeeper, although he's been beaten twice. No fault to him. Johnny Pilkington sending it over towards Johnny Dooley. Gary Savage picked up again by Johnny. Kevin Coulter sending it over towards Danny Hughes. Now Down. Can you do something here? Dropping it in. Michael Braniff is underneath it, but it doesn't matter because John McCarthy has put it over the bar. Good point by the midfielder. And again, 9 points between the teams.
And you have to give credit to Down. They've never given up the fight, you know, and had some good performers there in Noel Sands, I must say. You know, looked very threatening in possession all day. And in this heat, have fought all the way to the end.
It does show, though, once again, not that it really needs to be said, that there was a big difference between League in October and Championship in August in Croke Park.
Well, the greatest stage on earth, I suppose, All-Ireland semi-final day, you know, and
Noel Keith on the line, he has it, or has he? And he bravely went down, and he's got a belt there, I think. And it was really unusual. You see the manner in which it went down. This is the incident again. As the ball was sent in, came back off the post, surprised everybody, and Noel Keith literally sat in it. But where was it? It was still there. And Noel Keith rightly gets a round of applause. Coulter, hand passing it out in front of him, trying to pick it up. Doing a bit of a DJ Carey act there. Johnny Pilkington sending it across the face of the goal mouth to another Johnny. Well saved by Noel Keith for a 65. Well, he's been one of the heroes. He's been solid without really being spectacular. But this time he was tested right at his post. As the ball was driven in, Noel Keith stood his ground.
But as I said previously, Marty, you know, the difference in class really, you know, I mean, Offaly's striking has been much more crisper, their ability to take their scores, and again, I mean, from Down's point of view, obviously it's a great stage to be playing Ireland semi-final, and you just said, like, there's a big difference between the league in October and the summer heat that we have here in the Battle of an Ireland semi-final.
Johnny Dooley with 65, and dead on target, straight over the bar. And
Brendan Kelly coming into the fray for the Offaly team. John Troy will be the man he'll replace. Troy's picked up a bit of an injury. Just for safety's sake, they're taking him off.
So Brendan Kelly comes in and has given the official piece of notepaper to the referee, Willie Barrett. He goes in full forward, and as Tony was saying, John Troy goes off. Brendan Kelly will have just less than 3 minutes to impress the Offaly selectors if he wants to get on the first 15 for the All-Ireland hurling final. Ryan Wheelahan. Dermot Woods. Pat O'Connor putting it into the space for Billy to run after. Oh, Dermot Woods again to Billy Dooley. Gone over the bar. When you've got good forwards like this, you cannot afford to slip or lose possession that easily. And again, Dermot Woods, who has played well, was dispossessed far too easily. And Billy Dooley rather, put it over the bar. Joe Erity getting it far as Michael Dignan. Now Michael has it, and away he goes. The hand pass intended for Pat O'Connor, to be fair, was not a very good one. And down go for another long ball, which is going very much to the left and wide. And down now have a total of 11 wides. The Offaly sideline, I'm sure, will be quite happy. They continue on, defending their titles quite impressively. Lovely little bit of stick work by Johnny Pilkington out to Kevin Martin. Dermot Woods this time doesn't lose possession, but awkwardly has to give it to Marty Mallon. Sends it up towards Dermot O'Prey, Shane McCuckey and Michael Braniff. Ryan Wheelahan. It's a lovely striker of the ball. Noel Sands. Paul McMullen. Again, a ball in more hope than anything else. Kevin Martin comes away with it. And the referee has called the full-time whistle. Offaly, the Leinster All-Ireland champions, are back in the All-Ireland final for the second year in a row. Brian Wheelhan can afford a smile, because no doubt about it, Offaly, while not over-impressive, were impressive enough, and they're back the first Sunday in September. Offaly 219, down 2-8.
You were impressive enough, as Marty was saying there, but you were never going to get credit for a win today.
I don't think we were impressive. I thought we played poorly. I thought a lot of our players went out there, and I don't know what was wrong with them, but maybe the fact that we're playing down and they felt, okay, we're going to have it hard, but we're going to win, but we didn't perform to the way I would like them to perform, and we have a lot of work to be done.
It was a very, very hot day for playing hurling, though.
It was hot for both teams, and Down came back at us in the first half. In about after 50 minutes of the first half, they hurled for the next 25 minutes or 20 minutes, and they tore us asunder. And like we played badly with the wind in the first half, we did enough to win, but it's a long, long way from winning an All-Ireland.
You warned them against complacency, I know, but after a very good start, do you think your players did become a bit complacent and started thinking about the All-Ireland final?
I think they became a little complacent when we went up, I think, 1-5 to 2 points ahead, and we were winning ball easily. And then suddenly we began to think we were great. And when you begin to think that, then you're in serious trouble. And I think that's what happened to us today, that we began to think that we were good. And instead of going out and doing the hard work, the grinding work that has to be done, we didn't do it for long stretches of the game. Fortunately, we picked up a lot of good scores, but it's a long, long way from winning an All-Ireland.
Well, as they say, a win is a win is a win. Congratulations and thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, Damon Cragen, who always looks for more from his players, but nonetheless he has taken his side back to an All-Ireland hurling final against either Clare or Galway. That's the second issue to be decided here at Croke Park this afternoon. That's coming up after this commercial break.